Good morning and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, Iyun with Iyun. Today I want to analyze Challah, Perek Aleph, Mishnah Gimel. The Mishnah lists certain types of articles of grains, right, where there's a chiyuv take of challah, there's no chiyuv take of shumas and maishros. Some of them are manos haniyim, hefker, things like that. These things belong to the public. They don't have private ownership. So they don't have private ownership, so therefore there's no chiyuv of shumas and maishros. However, there is a chiyuv to take off challah, right? So there's other cases as the Mishnah. Also, let's just, for the sake of simplicity, focus on these first cases of hefker, manos haniyim. Right? Why are they chayiv in challah and pturim in ma'asos? What's the difference in challah and shumas and ma'asos? So the idea behind shumas and ma'asos is that we mentioned many times is that there's different. Each of them has their own reason, but Truma Gedola really is like is providing a Kohen with his sustenance, with his portion. Ma'aser Rishon also. Before Ezra was Mavatal, let's give the Leviim. Also to provide Leviim. These people, most of the time, they were Ovid in the Beis HaMikdash. They needed sustenance from somebody. They're sort of like taxes, welfare taxes, to give to people, to Manos Haniyim, to make sure welfare, right? It wasn't just the government is giving welfare. You're entitled. You're part of the government, right? Direct democracy. You're entitled to. You have to make sure that Aniyim have what they have, and right, and Kohanim and Leviim who work in the Beis HaMikdash have what they need to sustain themselves. Sort of like a tax, a welfare tax that you have to give to them when you don't have private ownership over something, so it doesn't belong to a hefker or leket shechan pay. It's supposed to be less for the aniyim. So then there's obviously no obligation to take off shumas. However, they are chayiv in challah because challah, it says reishis aruzosechem, right? It's called the reishis aruzosechem. It's something like bikurim or bechor. There's bikurim we learn in Parshat Kisavo. Bring bikurim from the Zion Minim, the first grown fruits of the Zion Minim in Eretz Yisrael. You give to the Kohen. Challah, the beginning of the kneading of your dough, you give to the Kohen. Bechor Adam, Bechor Behema, first Hetarechem, the first son born into the womb of a woman, through the womb of a woman, or through the womb of an animal. So in those cases, talk about more Mesachas Bechorus, but the idea of Bechor, I was talking about this at the Shabbos table, past Shabbos, my parents were still here. I said this Chiddush that the idea is that a Bechor, the reason you give Bikurim, right, it doesn't make so much sense. You would spend so much time growing this. You just got married, you had a child, right? This belongs to you. Why do you have to redeem it from the Kohen? Why does it belong to the Kohen? Why the first? The first is the best. Why do the first have to give? Because ultimately every success that we have for having children, our animals having children, our crops growing, is direct blessing from God, that God is giving us sustenance, So as a means of thanking Hashem for what He's doing to us, we give Him the best, or the first part, to show our appreciation that He's giving us what to live on, and what to survive on, and what to thrive on. So it's more of, Bikurim is more of thanks to Hashem, it's appreciation for Hashem. So even though you have no personal ownership over these things, right? It's leket shechah, peya, or hefker, and you somehow took it, or you're the ani and you took it. There's still a chiyuv, I believe. There's still a chiyuv of challah. This challah is the same thing. Reishis aruzosechem, right? When you're blessed to be able to knead a big dough and make challahs for Shabbos, you should show your appreciation to Hashem that He gave you such dough, and give it to the kohanim. The kohanim are representative of Hashem. So sometimes the kohanim need it for their own sustenance, and sometimes you give it to the kohanim because the kohanim are shluchei derachmana. They're shluchim of Hashem. The Gemara that talks about it, shluchei didan, shluchei derachmana, but they're at least according to some opinions, they're emissaries of God. It's like you're giving it to God. Right? You can't literally give it to God. You can give it to kohanim who are the closest to God. They serve God in the Beis HaMikdash. So that's the idea behind challah. And I would say bikurim also. We don't talk about bikurim, but I would say bikurim also. Hefker is chayiv in bikurim, and it's chayiv likewise in challah. Because challah is the same idea as bikurim and bechor adam, bechor behema, is that you want to give thanks to Hashem. So even if you don't own it, right, the fact that it's in your hands, you still have to give thanks to Hashem for the fact that this grain exists. This grain exists, and it provides just not for the owner, but also for manos aniyim. Also, even the ani would be obligated to give bikurim and challah. That's the explanation. We'll talk more about challah as we go forward.